This will save you a lot of time if you just take this extra step. Look at the status update and find people that have good comments and reach out to those people. Don't just go through and message everyone and anyone on the planet. Why? Because some of those people aren't even active on Facebook. Some of those people are just negative and nasty. And you're just going to waste a lot of your time unless you take the time to do this first step. Because the more complicated way must be the right way, right? No. Sometimes the simplest answer is usually the right one. And just as human beings, we overcomplicate that with everything, in everything that we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our stage, our first presenter, Jessica Higdon.
Well, first and foremost, let's just thank these guys for an incredible, incredible weekend. Let me tell you that these events, and we put on quite a few of them, this stage setup, this hotel, this incredible hotel, everything that goes into an event like this, from the name badges to the printed materials to just everything, is not easy and it's not cheap. So the fact that you have a leader or leaders that are willing to do this for you, it's not common in our industry, guys. It's not. So just one more round of applause for them. This is awesome. Yeah. So I have to say, it feels really, really good to be up here in front of you guys. How many of you really want to be up on stage? Maybe next time, maybe at the next Platinum Edge? Okay, a few of you. How many of you want to see your teammates up on stage at the next event? Yeah, a lot of us, right? Has anybody seen me speak before? This is awesome. Okay, good. Very cool. I wasn't, for those of you that don't know, which it seems like a lot of you haven't seen me speak, so I'm really excited about that. For those of you that don't know, I was not the person that wanted to be on stage, as I saw many of you in the audience share that with me. So I did not want to be on stage, but seeing my teammates on stage, that was really, really important to me. And had you asked me, 8 years ago, if I would be up here training you guys and I would be up here, just totally comfortable, I would have told you you are absolutely crazy. But that's the power of this profession and what we do here, isn't it? So I'll get into my story a little bit later, but I can tell you guys, I can relate to a lot of you in here that are like, I want to be on stage, but not really. That's what this is about, right? And I'm going to train you today on exactly how to do that. So just ask yourself this question, and you can write it down. I suggest you write it down. And anything that we cover here today, feel free to screenshot it. Feel free to do whatever you need to do to make sure you're present and you take notes. How about if you had an unlimited amount of free leads? What would that mean to you? Like, would that be just less stress in your life? Would you gain more confidence in yourself? Know that by pressing the send button, you could basically recruit at will. What would that do for your confidence? How about when you're talking to the skeptics that tell you it's a pyramid or it'll never work? Be able to teach your team the same strategy for massive duplication. And that's what this strategy here today that I'm going to share with you guys is all about. It's not just about you. So if you found an amazing, super duper way to get people into your company, into Beachbody, then don't stop that, right? That's That's something you should continue to do. But maybe your team isn't really grasping that and they're not seeing the possibilities there. So what I've really created is a system for you that you can use not only for yourself, but for your teammates so that they know exactly what to do when they leave this event, or they know exactly what to do after they come into your company, right? So that's pretty exciting. So if you have a bunch of skeptics out there that are telling you, oh, it's not for me, or that's a pyramid, or whatever the case may be that you hear quite frequently, then if you have an unlimited amount of free leads and you know that you can recruit at will as you're going out there, it kind of makes it not a big deal, right? It's like, next, thank you very much, next. Well, that's what social media provides for you. And that's why I believe that John and Christine had so many social media trainers up here, is because it's just that powerful, especially for what you guys have. So what I'm going to cover here is branding to attract your ideal prospect. We'll cover some Facebook and LinkedIn prospecting. How many of you are on Facebook? Anybody not on Facebook? No, you guys are too smart for that, right? How about LinkedIn? Who's on LinkedIn? Okay. Awesome. So LinkedIn is a great way to find people to recruit into your business. And the thing about LinkedIn is it's kind of spammy in the messages, isn't it? So you go into your LinkedIn and you see hundreds of messages with just a link and people just randomly sponsoring their company or their deal, right? Well, if you're the one that reaches out to them and actually does it properly, they're just excited to get a response. So LinkedIn can be very, very profitable, and it can be very effective with your time. Then I'm going to give you some action steps you can start today to set appointments for your business. We're going to cover some closing questions for Facebook. Anybody in here scared of closing? Yeah, I was too. So I'm going to give you some cool tactics that you can use so that it's totally not a big deal for you. And then I'll give you some details on how to dive deeper with me, those of you that want to take it to the next level. So just because a lot of you don't know me, I've had hundreds and hundreds, actually thousands of people go through my trainings and programs. And this is Aurora, just to share with you a few, with some of the secrets that I'm going to share with you today. She actually went through this training. She didn't even know where the send message button was. And she went to sponsoring 28 people in 2 weeks into her business. Ben, he went from doing absolutely nothing to sponsoring 11 people within 2 months. And Mary, she went from sponsoring, just a few people here and there to becoming a leader inside of her company. But this is one of my absolute favorite testimonials that I've gotten. This is Xavier. I don't know why I X'd out his name. He should be highlighted. This is Xavier, and he sent me this message. He hadn't recruited a single person or done anything in his company for 4 years. 4 years. And after seeing one of my trainings, he actually recruited someone the same day. So that was really exciting for me because I kind of have a similar story to that. Maybe not quite that extensive, but I'll share that with you guys here in a little bit. So this is me on stage. My hair was a little different back then. That was kind of the style, wasn't it? Like the short cut that comes down here. Still pretty cute, but I don't know. I've gone through a lot of different hairstyles in my day. So some of the pictures you see are just, it doesn't even look like me. But this is me on stage getting my first $10,000 check. And I started this business when I was 21 years old. I had no warm market, as Christine had mentioned. I had zero credibility with anyone. All my friends were broke college students. I was going to school trying to get my marketing degree. And all of their friends were broke college students. So, you're told, hey, go to your warm market. Then if that doesn't work, go ahead and get referrals. Well, That's still great, and it was great practice for me. But to go to my warm market, I wasn't getting anywhere with them. And then to go and get referrals, my referrals were either the other broke college students or their parents, right? And most of their parents thought that I was absolutely crazy. You know, I had no business experience. I was actually kind of timid and shy. I mean, I liked people. I was kind of an outgoing person, but when it came to business, I was really timid and shy. You wouldn't know it today, but I definitely was. And the ones that did want to hear me out, I would get all excited. I'd, take my little kit or whatever and go over to their house and be ready to present and get all pumped up. And then after the presentation, they'd be like, "Oh, Jess, you're trying to build a business? That's so cute. Oh, good for you. Great presentation," right? Not exactly what I wanted to hear. It was really destroyed my confidence, and it kind of was degrading at the same time. I thought I was too young. I wasn't comfortable talking to people that were older than me. And I'm here to tell you that if you have a limiting belief like that, either you're too young or you're too old or you didn't get an education or whatever the case may be, ask yourself this question. Have there been people that are in worse circumstances than you that have built an amazing network marketing business? 100%. Have there been people that are in better circumstances than you build an incredible network marketing business? Absolutely. So circumstance has absolutely nothing to do with where you want to go. If it did, nobody would create anything. Nobody would be millionaires. Nobody would have anything because you have to start somewhere. So for me, that was a big realization. And I struggled for 6 months. I didn't get a single sign up, not one. And I felt like I was working really hard. Have you ever felt like, gosh, I'm doing presentation after presentation, or I'm going out there and talking to people, but it's not really systematized, so you're not really working that hard? You're like talking to a person here, talking to a person there. Oh, I talked to 5 people today. I feel really good about myself, but then tomorrow I do nothing, right? We've all kind of been there where we feel like, okay, that's me working hard, but it's really not. So I felt like I was working hard, but I wasn't because I didn't have a system in place that I could really, really hammer it home and go hardcore with. So what I did is I actually went onto Google and I searched for, okay, how can I build this business online? People around me, they didn't take me seriously, like I said, so I needed to create a new presence of who I am. I needed to kind of be reborn into the person I wanted to be, and I knew social media was a great way to do that. And I found some people that had built a business on social media, and I thought, okay, well, if they can do it, then maybe I can do it. So I went through a lot of trial and tribulation of talking to people, figuring out what worked, kind of the psychology of how social media prospecting goes, the branding portion. And long story short, after not signing up anybody for 6 months, after 18 months, I was able to create my first $10,000 a month and become the #1 female income earner with that company. So that was really exciting. Thank you. It was a fun journey and a fun road. And now we speak all over the world. Actually, my husband just got back from England to speak for a company. We've worked with leaders like David and Kate Ingram, who I know a lot of you know. They're absolutely incredible. We've worked with the Nelsons, Brian, Jessica Nelson. And now we're here speaking to you guys. So it's totally an honor and a pleasure. Okay, so let's get into some training. Branding. This is just like a core concept for branding that you need to understand if you want to start actively recruiting people on social media. And I say active because I mean going out there and looking for people, prospecting them, like you control the numbers. It's not just marketing, it's you controlling the numbers, because having a brand, having a presence, like Christine was talking about, having you out there is very important. However, until you have that brand, which I didn't have a brand, until you have that brand, you need to go out there and actively reach out to people if you want to make quicker money, right? So here are some quick tips for that. Who are your top 3 favorite leaders, and what do their profiles look like? Just write this down. Who's your target market? And I'll help you guys. I'll give you some examples with this if you're kind of like, I don't know. Who's my target market? By the way, don't stress about your target market. This can always change. So we've had clients and people for years that have been stuck on target market. And because of that, they never move into action. That's not what I want for you today. Just figure out what, one thing that would work for you, and then you can always change it. And then think about your messaging, your point of view. Are you being edgy? So you know how Christine got up here and said, be you, right? It's important to be you. Well, that means be yourself. That means don't just stay kind of in between the guidelines and be really like inspirational all the time, which is great, but you want to have some stuff in there that actually is meaty, it's beefy, that gets people looking at your stuff. That does not mean that you talk about, how everyone's going to hell, or if you're super religious, or how, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump is the best and everybody else is totally an idiot. That's not what that means. It means that you create some type of point of view. And I'm going to share with you how to do that. Everybody have that written down? Okay, so here are some examples, right? Christine, amazing social media presence. This is just an example of mine, okay? So I want to hammer this home for you guys, because branding is the key to where when you're reaching out to people and they look at your stuff, they're actually going to treat you as credible. They're going to treat you like a professional. And this is a way to do it without lacking integrity, right? You're not going out there saying, hey, I've made $1 million and I've recruited 500 people and da-da-da-da. No, you're going out there being you with integrity, but still a very professional you, someone that people want to join, which is the key. So my target market is a professional man or woman home business owner who's self-motivated, takes self-responsibility, and is looking for someone to tweak and refine their business model through coaching and mentorship. See how specific that is? Because when you go on social media, you want to talk to one person. You don't want to talk to the masses. You want to be talking to your target market, who that specific person is. What's your biggest pet peeve? Not enough people in the industry take self-responsibility. We as an industry whole need to start moving towards a more professional stance. Education and professionalism is key. So my biggest pet peeve is the blame game, hands down. I can't stand it when people blame others for their non-success. So what do I do with that? You don't go on social media and start preaching like, oh, I hate people that blame and da-da, you're all terrible and you all suck, right? That's not the right way to do it. You turn this into a positive. So you take your biggest pet peeve or where you can be a little edgy and you turn it into like, what do you want? So I speak to the people that take self-responsibility. I speak to the people that don't play the blame game. And in turn, our audience, or the people that we have reaching out to us and looking at our stuff, they actually they embody this type of personality, and it's just really cool and interesting how that all works. So just think about that. Now, Beachbody as a whole has a secret weapon. You guys have something that nobody else in the industry has, and that's wide acceptance. Your company spends a lot of money on infomercials and things to make this product known out there. So usually when I'm talking to an audience like this one, I say, you can't mention P90X, you can't mention Shakeology, you can't mention any of those things. However, with you guys, if you do it in the right way, it could be a huge, credible aspect of your profile for you. You have a huge, huge advantage here. It is widely accepted, so I highly suggest you use that. Now, you use it in the right way. I know a lot of people talked about how you don't want to hammer home, your company and your product and things like that, but maybe you have it in the background of a video. Or maybe you just mention, you're taking people on your journey with you, and you just mention, hey, I lost X, Y, and Z, and, Shakeology, it's amazing, it's incredible, and then you go on to give your value or your tip. You guys have a very, very huge secret weapon. So don't be afraid to use that. It's the only thing I've seen that has this type of clout in the network marketing world. Yeah, some applause for that. So here's a tip, and I know you guys get this because your company and your team is huge on videos, but Facebook Live is absolutely incredible. And the reason I say to do a Facebook Live is for a couple of different reasons. By the way, if you're scared, do it anyway. Do it anyway. One point to that is there's a lot of people that won't do a Facebook Live because it's live. They would rather do 50 video takes or something like that, which I understand, by the way. My first video, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was 24 takes, and it was a minute long. And it was just telling people how I was scared to do video. And it was 24 takes. So I get that. But messing up on video, it makes you real. It makes you who you are, so people can really relate to that. So not a lot of people will do a live video, so if you're the one to do it, then you just set yourself apart from all the other people out there who aren't. Also, it gets a lot of reach. A lot of reach, more reach than anything else that we do on Facebook right now. They want to dominate this space. They want to own this market. So doing a Facebook Live, and you guys have a great product and culture to do it with, exercise videos or whatever, recipes, whatever you want to do, or just giving a tip on how to lose weight. It's a great, great platform for you to stand on. The other reason that I highly recommend doing this is because when I first got onto social media, like I said, I had no brand. Creating content is a way for you to just set yourself up above the people that really don't have anything out there. So as you're talking to people, and maybe they mention that, hey, you know what, I've tried those things before, but I've always wanted to learn how to do it online, and I never knew how, and you have a video for that, or you have a little article for that, a LinkedIn article, doesn't matter. Something that's you authored it, that all of a sudden makes you go above and beyond in their book, and now you're someone who, maybe I can follow this person, maybe I can join this person, okay? So content really does create you as a credible professional. And what I did when I first came online is, like I said, I did this video that was 24 takes. It was a minute long, and it said, hey guys, I'm really scared to do video. And I was telling people that not to, just get my video out there, but for a purpose. I said, hey, you know what? I'm really scared to do video. This is my very first video, and if you're out there scared to do video too, then will you please comment and share this? And I'm going to go on a 7-day video challenge, and why don't you take this challenge with me? And I got so many comments and shares and likes, and people like, oh yeah, I'm scared to do video too, let's do it. So you guys can do that with anything. You can do it with weight loss. You can do it with health, just being healthy. That's a key, is taking people on the journey with you. And that kind of launched me into some people seeing my stuff, and then I would go out there and reach out to them and prospect them and go out on the prospecting journey, which we'll talk about. So if you're really scared, you can do some form of content. It doesn't have to be a live video. Something is definitely better than nothing, okay? But I do recommend live video. Like I mentioned, the way I've sponsored almost 300 people through Facebook is by presenting myself as a professional. So get a professional photo. You've probably heard this a million times. However, people don't take this seriously. The first thing people are going to see is your profile picture. If it's of your dog or your kid, we love them to death. I love my baby girl more than anything, but I want to know who you are. I want to see who you are and what you stand for. Like I said, create content. Use the 80-20 rule. So that means 80% of the time, you're posting value. You're posting things that maybe your target market will want to hear. Like, what's a major problem that they have out there, and how can you find some stuff that would solve it? And then just repurpose that content, make it your own, put your personality in there, and give credit where credit is due. But what would they want to hear about? Inspiration, travel, your workout routine, whatever that may be. And then 10 to 20% of the time, you're going to be posting about Beachbody and about your products. But you do it with curiosity. You don't just post, hey, join my team, okay? Here's the biggest tip that I had to learn the hard way, because I was trying to be somebody I was not. You guys are not Christine. Christine is not you. You're not John. John is not you. You're not me, and I'm not you. Be yourself. There's enough abundance. There's enough people to go around for you to be yourself and not try and be something you're not. You can emulate what the successful people do, and I highly suggest you do that. But you want to add your own flair to it. I was listening to an interview with Richard Branson, actually. And he was asked in the interview, what was the turning point for your business? And he actually turned the interview around on the interviewer and said, actually, let me ask you the same question. What was the turning point for your business? And she's a very successful marketer, extremely successful. And she kind of paused for a minute and thought about it. And she said, it was the minute that I learned that it was okay to be myself. And she's kind of quirky and out there and has funky videos. So that was a huge realization for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you, that it's okay to be yourself. You don't have to be super duper professional. You don't have to be perfect. And you can screw up, even in front of people, and it's okay. Heck, I might even screw up today, so just letting you guys know. So case in point, with the profile picture, sorry if she's in the audience. I know Ray asked me, my husband asked me, he's like, you're sure she's not in the audience, right? I'm like, no, I'm not, but who would you rather join? Obviously, Christine, right? So if this girl sent you a message, you'd be like, I don't know. I mean, you might be fun to hang out with and party with, but join a business with? I'm not really sure. So you just want to keep that in mind. So once you have your branding together and you've got the pieces to the puzzle kind of put in place, then you're ready to go and start prospecting. So you want to make sure that you look presentable. It's like your first impression. Your social media profile is your first impression, really in a lot of things that you do. I was actually asked to go on an interview recently, and the first thing I do when I'm asked to do an interview is look at their social media profile and see what they got going on. How many followers do they have? What's their audience like? What kind of stuff do they post? So it's the same thing for you guys, so it's very, very important. So let's talk about some active prospecting. Now, this is a system that I've perfected like no other, and there is a system to it. I feel that the big difference between my training and a lot of other people's is I actually learned how to recruit leaders versus just, people that aren't going to do anything. Now, of course, people will fool you, right? The people that you think are going to do the most won't do anything. The people you think are going to do the least build your whole team. But for the most part, you can find good people. And I found just some really, really good leaders to help me build the foundation of my team. And I did it through this process. So what you're going to do is go to your friends list. Now, just the first step is most of you don't realize it, but you have future teammates right now in your Facebook friends and fans. A lot of times, we're so focused on getting new people, that we don't take the time to look at the people we actually already have that have already been seeing our stuff, okay? So you're going to go to your friends list. And because of this strategy, Adele is actually averaging 2 to 3 appointments per day, and she got 3 people to sign up in the last month. So this is just, you can use this pretty much to a T and exactly as I share it. If it'll work. There we go. Use this script. Hey, Joe, I have to apologize for not reaching out to you beforehand. Now, why do we use that line in the first sentence? Because the first thing somebody's going to see is the first sentence, right? So if it's like, hey, Joe, great to connect with you, or hey, Joe, looks like you've got an awesome dog, or something like that, they may not open it, right? Because they've got a million other messages that are just spam just like it. So you want to make sure it's just enticing enough for them to say, hey, wait a minute. What do you mean you have to apologize to me? Let me open this up. You can also do audio. We have a good friend and client that does audio messaging and prospects. Works really well too, but this is kind of the gist of what you want to say. You've been on my Facebook for X amount, and I've seen your stuff, and we've never actually connected. One of my goals is to get to actually know more of my Facebook friends. You've got great energy. What is it that you would do exactly? 90% of the time, unless it's blatantly obvious on their profile, I'm asking them, what do you do? Why? Because, in turn, they're going to ask me, usually if they're polite, which they're not always, they're going to ask me, oh, I do blah, 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 what is it that you do? Or something along those lines. And then you just kind of leave a little nugget. You don't just pitch them hardcore, leave a little nugget, and go on with your leading questions in the conversation. And the leading questions is really the key here, because we don't want any of you going out there and building rapport with someone for 3 years and then finally asking them if they want to be in your business, right? That's not what we want. So we want you to lead them to the close, and if you do this properly, you find the right types of people, you get them through, you put them through the process, then the close is actually pretty easy. So to get new people, I highly recommend, let's back up for a second. I highly recommend that all of you go through and do this as soon as you leave here today. So as many friends as you can get through, I would definitely go back and do this. If you do get a warning sign from Facebook, stop for 24 hours. We don't want anybody getting banned, okay? But with your friends, you should be okay. And there's a lot of ways around reaching out to new people. It's just about, working with the Facebook guidelines. So to get new people, here's some really good fan pages to go to, and these are ones that I've found a lot of my recruits. Disclaimer, do not go into these groups and just reply to all the comments and go message every single person in there. We're not going to do that. I'm going to share with you what we're going to do. But Tony Robbins is a great one. They're positive. Robert Kiyosaki, they love network marketing, entrepreneurial, very good. Law of attraction. These guys believe that when you reach out to them, it's for a reason. Which I believe too, but they're just really awesome, positive people that would love to hear from you, especially if they're active on the page, and you're going to look for the people that are active on the page. So that's key. For you guys, Women's Men's Health Magazine, Forbes, Jillian Michaels maybe, just think of some other celebrities that your target market would want to reach out to. The other portion of this is you want to make sure you get the right types of people. So people that are positive, people that do not argue in the comments. This is why you're actually going to the page and looking to see a good status update and looking to see someone that comments on that status update. Because I want to find out what type of person they are. So the first step is I look for the fan page or group. I see who's commenting, who's reacting in there. I find a good status update that I want to look at. For me, my biggest pet peeve is self-responsibility. A lot of these guys, or blame game, a lot of these guys talk about how, success is hard work and you got to own up to it and stuff like that. And I see a bunch of great comments on those status updates. So this is where your target market kind of comes into play, right? here's a point about the arguing in comments, bless you. Even if you agree with it, don't reach out to that person. Now, there are exceptions, right? There's awesome people that argue on Facebook from time to time. But for the most part, even if you agree with what they're saying, don't reach out to that person. Why? Because this person took time out of their day to go argue with someone else on Facebook. And usually, it's just not the type of person that you want to interact with. Self-responsible and professional looking profile. You're going to go look at their profile and make sure that it's someone you actually want to do business with. By the way, am I okay on time? You guys just let me know. Okay, thanks. So once you find these people, stick to this formula. Now, you can go about this a million different ways. I want you to add your personal flair into it, but reach out to the person and follow this first message formula. I actually had one of our friends, former teammates and clients, he printed out some scripts that I gave him, printed out this formula, used it to a T, did massive action, right? You're not going to get these results if you don't do massive action, but he did massive action, and he recruited 30 people in 60 days. It's just kind of using the formula to your advantage and making it your personality. So like I said, you want to include their first name so that they know that it's actually them that you're reaching out to. An enticing first sentence, why you're messaging them, a connection point, and then end with a question. And preferably a leading question, not like, hey, where do you get your dog groomed, right? It's a great conversation, but that's not going to lead us where we want them to go. So here's an example of that. Hey, Bob, I almost didn't reach out to you, but then I decided to anyways. If you saw that up in your messages, wouldn't you be like, why didn't this person reach out to me? Let me check this out. Let me open this up and see what this is all about. I swear I'm not a random Facebook person with a spammy message, haha. Sometimes honesty is always the best policy. I guess that's kind of an oxymoron sentence. Always honesty is the best policy, right? So what that means is, if somebody is being kind of distant, or they're not responding to you, or you feel like they're, kind of turned off by whatever you said, just be honest with them and say, hey, I have to apologize if something I said offended you, or if something I did, made you feel uncomfortable. I'm so sorry. I noticed you haven't been responding to my messages, and I just want to make sure, everything's okay. Only if they're a jerk will they not respond to that. Right? So just remember, you can always be honest. So, hey, I'm not a spammer, guys. Just want to let you know. So I'm reaching out to you personally. I've been noticing the comments you made on the Tony Robbins page, and I checked out your profile. We definitely have the same mindset like when you posted about work ethic. 2 parts to why you're messaging them. The first one is where you found them. The second is something specific on their profile that stood out to you. I would train this, and I used to see people, they'd send me conversations and be like, Jess, I just don't understand why I'm not getting more responses, or I'm doing something wrong. And I would see people say things like, hey, I'm reaching out to you because it looks like you're an awesome networker. Or I'm reaching out to you because I like your profile. Or I'm reaching out to you because you've got a great dress, or whatever the case may be. That's all nice and great. However, that's not what's going to get somebody to actually pay attention to you. How do they know that you didn't just send that to a million other people? They don't. So you want to be very, very specific of why you're reaching out to them. And then, like I said, end with a question. Then all you have to do is wait for a response. If they're positive, you've got a good lead right there. You've now taken someone from ice cold, dry ice cold, right, to lukewarm. You've got a good lead right there. Do not let that lead slip through your fingertips. Educate yourself, practice, go through the motions, make sure that you know how to take someone from that place to the actual close and into your business, because day in and day out, we let these good leads slip through our fingertips simply because we don't know how to handle them, right? So if they're positive, you can follow the 10 closing question sequence. I'm going to give you 5 today for the sake of time that you can really use. And remember to find out if there's a way you can help them. You want to stand out as an authority figure, and you can do this by posture and creating content. And I'll share with you some examples of that as well. All right, let's talk about LinkedIn. I know I'm giving you guys a lot of information, but it's all very simple. And like I said in my little intro video, sometimes simple is the best policy, right? It's usually the best way to go about it. As human beings, we try and overcomplicate everything that we do. Something's working, right? You ever have it where you're doing a strategy, maybe you get a customer or sign up, and then you're like, oh, well, that was too easy. I got to go this way. I got to do something different, right? Don't do that. Keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you'll make it happen. Candace, she said that by updating her profile, she had 64% more views than 3 weeks ago just by following these strategies. So there's 4 important things on your LinkedIn profile: your headline, your summary, your skill sets, and your tags and interests. We're going to cover your headline today because it's the most important. There are 3 ways to write your headline. And the cool thing is, like with Beachbody, there's a ton of people Googling your products. There's a ton of people Googling, how reviews and ways that it can work for them and things like that. So you want to capture that traffic. Videos are a great way to do that, YouTube. Actually, LinkedIn. And LinkedIn articles can show up too. So, something to think about. So 3 ways to write your headline. Here's the first one. Your keyword or your niche. You're going to do your keyword in the very first sentence. So think about that. Who does X, Y, and Z for whomever that may be, and then a proof point. A proof point basically is something that shares social proof. It's something that says, hey, it's not just me doing this, but other people have made it happen, so that they see, oh, okay, this actually works. So here's an example. Travel and vacation expert who helps people take luxury vacations on a shoestring budget, saved an average of $3,800 last year. That would be your proof point. Okay, this is a great one to use. Here's one that I really like for your guys' specific niche, is the Claim Your Niche headline. Gluten-free nutrition expert, helping busy people eat healthy and lose weight with a fast, easy regimen that actually tastes good. So you're being a little different, right? I would not say health and wellness expert. Why? Because there's a million other people saying the exact same thing. I would say something different, something along these lines, right? So if somebody's Googling gluten-free, or they're searching in LinkedIn gluten-free nutrition or nutrition expert, your profile may come up with this headline. And then the last one, it's actually my least favorite, but if you do it right, you can make it really powerful. The problem is when you start with a question, sometimes that can be really, really spammy, so you want to be careful here. Need to lose weight but too busy? I show busy people how to lose weight effectively without affecting their lifestyle. Helped a dad and CEO lose 20 pounds in 3 months. Another good one for your guys' niche, but you got to be careful starting with a question because you don't want to look spammy or weird. Okay. Now LinkedIn I actually recruited an international team on LinkedIn in Hong Kong. We were seeing some massive growth in our company in Hong Kong. And the way I did it was through LinkedIn, because you can get very specific on the place that you want to search for people on, the language that they speak, the type of person that they are. So I really like that about LinkedIn. So you can go up to the top search bar just like you would on Facebook, but instead of typing in a certain Facebook page or group, go to the advanced search button right there to the right of the search bar. And here you can put in a keyword. So I can put in real estate investor, or I can put in financial advisor, or I can put in, gym owner, whatever the case may be, and find those specific people in a specific area with a specific language. It's really, really awesome. And you want to make sure that you do first and second connections, because those are the people that you can reach out to. That's a connection on LinkedIn is like a friend on Facebook. So it would be your friends and your friends of friends. And you could, there is a paid version of LinkedIn. It's not necessary, but you could do that to get more people that you can reach out to as well. But for this purpose of this training, I would just do the first and second connections to start out with, okay? And then you just search, and you're going to get people like this that come up, the exact person that you're looking for. Now, it'll either say connect or message. Once you connect with someone, you'll get an email saying, hey, this person connected with you, and then you can shoot them a message. Also, you'll get, certain people that you already are connected with, and it'll just say message, and you can shoot them a message. A great way to get more people in your pipeline is to just respond to all the spammy messages that you have in your inbox. Just respond. Nobody is responding to them. Nobody. So the fact that you even took the time to do that, they're going to be like, oh my God, I got one. What do I do? Right? And then you can turn them around. And I'm going to share with you an example of that. So here's an example of an initial message on LinkedIn, just saying I wanted to introduce myself. Like I said, I found him in the Hong Kong area. Same process, right? I looked on his profile and I saw that he had cool investor on his profile. And so I pointed that out because that's something that can come in very handy in what we do, right? Investing in new businesses and things like that. Now, this guy didn't actually join, but he connected me with someone who did. Now, in this message, because it's LinkedIn, I get to the point a little quicker because these people, they're professionals, they're going back and forth, so you can get to the point a little quicker on LinkedIn. On Facebook, you might want to warm them up a little bit, but usually on LinkedIn, they're looking to do business. Here's another example. This is somebody that actually reached out to me, and I responded to him saying, I saw that I don't show it on here, but he sent me a really long message with a link at the bottom, something you'll see quite often. And obviously, nobody's responding to that, but if you notice, I said, how long have you been a recruiter? Because I noticed in that he said he was a recruiter for a company. And so we talked back and forth, and as you can see, he says he's always open to sharing and learning ideas and tips. I followed the same frequent, some leading questions. What made you change fields? Have you ever thought of doing something different? Mentioned something personal on his profile, and then said, hey, I have an idea of how we could possibly benefit each other working on a project. You never say opportunity, you never say business, project, idea, whatever the case may be. So here's some basic rules. Do make yourself out to be somewhat of an expert. Do ask a lot of questions to get the conversation going. Do bring up your business casually in conversation. And by the way, when I say make yourself out to be an expert, I mean just control the conversation. Again, that doesn't mean saying, hey, I made $1 million and, blah, blah. But you can say you work directly with someone who's making millions of dollars and they're training you how to do it. I would absolutely say that. Leverage the Dwyer name. Why not? Do have content created to make yourself look credible. Like I said, videos, blogs, articles. Oh. Sorry. Don't yell at me. Okay. So here's an example. Just another one. I just kind of dropped the fact that, hey, we actually just won a BMW. Now, if you didn't win a BMW, you can say, hey, my teammate just hit X, Y, and Z, or my friend, she just lost 30 pounds, pretty cool. Doesn't have to be something you personally did, but he shows some interest. It's like, so how did you get into that business? I wish I would have, and this guy did end up joining. This was a guy we talked back and forth. If you present yourself like a professional, like someone that can help them or that they would join with, they'll come back asking you questions. And the only reason he came back asking me questions is because when he was talking about network marketing, I said, hey, here's a totally value-based article that I did, or video, or whatever, helping him with whatever we were talking about in his question. And he looked at that and said, wow, I guess this girl knows what she's talking about. So he came back to me and asked what network marketing company he should join. Of course, I was going to say mine, right? So that'll happen to you. He didn't join right away, but he came to me maybe 30 days later and asked me this question and then joined. So just some things to think about. All right, let's quickly go over these because they're pretty easy. What do you do for work? Top 5 closing questions. How long have you been doing that for? I'm actually going to go back through these, so don't worry. How long have you been doing that for? Wow, you must love it, huh? Have you ever considered doing anything else? All right. So this is how this goes. Now remember, you're not rapid firing these questions out. Like if you go to a party and you meet someone and you're like, hey, what do you do for work? How long have you been doing that for? Have you ever considered doing anything else? They're going to be like, whoa, okay, creepy, like let's back up. So you're not going to do that. You're going to frame it with some chit chat, right? Kind of sandwich that in there. But these are the questions that you generally want to end with. How long have you been doing that for? So we go like this. I'm sorry. What do you do for work? Oh, I'm in real estate. Oh, that's awesome. How long have you been doing that for? About 10 years now. Wow, you must love it, huh? Actually, it just pays the bills. You know, that's something I got a lot. It pays the bills, or yeah, it's okay, pays the bills. Well, that doesn't sound too exciting. Have you ever considered doing anything else? Right? And now you're going to get some meat with the conversation. And you just keep going with the leading questions and seeing when you can transition to question number 5. This may or may not be for you, but based on what you've shared with me, you may want to take a look at what I do, especially since it wouldn't interfere time-wise with your commitments. If you're open, I could send you some information. If not, no big deal. By this time, they are ready for this question, and the key to this is the based on what you've shared with me. So based on what you've shared with me, that's putting it back on them. And it's also kind of protecting you from you, right? Because you're not going to close too soon with a based on what you've shared with me if they haven't shared a single thing. So you're not going to send this to someone random and be like, hey, based on what you shared with me, they're going to be like, you're weird. So this is definitely a question I used a lot. There's a few different ones you can use, but this is a good one to kind of transition your business. And then you just get them on the phone, on Skype, Facebook chat, whatever, to get them to a different type of more personal medium and get them into your business.